It's another wild day in the world of Magic the Gathering. We have anger and confusion in the player base surrounding March of the Machine serialized cards. On top of that, Wizards of the Coast has made some very odd changes to welcome boosters. And that's not even everything we're going to talk about today.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends! I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for a juicy installment of Mega Magic News. And this is a news roundup. We have a whole bunch of different things to talk about. The biggest being the serialized issues. But I want to start out on a lighter note. Now, you may remember that recently we've seen the Hot Pocket boxes. And on one of those boxes, we've seen a character who is no longer with us, Gideon. Well, it turns out that Gideon is back. He just showed up in the comic books. And you have a situation where somebody goes, yo, I thought you were done for. And then Gideon goes, hey, Teferi, do you mind freezing the entire time for all of the multiverse while I explain what happened? And Teferi's like, yeah, bro, let's do it. So it's pretty amusing to see Gideon showing up both on Hot Pockets and in the comics, but at the same time Wizards goes, well, that stuff's not, Hot Pockets aren't canon, comic books aren't canon, but then the story that they've written as well kind of doesn't match up with the card, so what even is canon? I'm kind of suspecting Gideon might pop back at some point, so that is interesting. I wasn't expecting to see that. Now on to a completely wildly different subject, and that is briefly touching on what's going on with TCG players. So if you haven't heard already, they have a new CEO now who came over from eBay. So TCG player is one of the biggest places you can go to get Magic singles. And actually, I have a TCG player link as well. So if you do use that website, you can use my link if you want to help out the show. But either way, the way it's going now is there's going to be some changes coming down the road. Let's be very real. TCG player was purchased by eBay. And now you have somebody who worked for eBay who being put in charge over here going, yep, we're going to go ahead and keep things the way they are. We want to have a smooth transition. We're not looking at any changes. There's absolutely going to be some changes. Will they be positive? Will they be negative? I have no idea, but it is of note. Now, let's move in to talking about the serialized situation because there are two different parts of this and I'm going to need to show you an image for the first one. So up on the screen, you're going to see a couple of serialized cards and you may be feeling a bit of confusion right now when you look at them. So this is the confused side of serialized cards. People are going, wait. So they're doing out of 500s for March of the Machine of these Praetors, but why do we have these Vin Diesel triple X style versions? What exactly is going on here? Well, these are essentially test print versions that Wizards of the Coast has created for promotional purposes. So it's not part of the 500, it's not some kind of error, and actually I suppose I will put out there as well for people who might not have heard of it already, and the whole April Fool's jokes do linger online for a while. There is a joke serialized card going around out there that is 503 out of 500. And I am still seeing it posted here and there. That was an April Fool's joke. The way the internet works is it keeps those jokes fresh long past expiration. So there is no 503 serialized card, but there are these triple X cards which were intentionally made, only made by Wizards to send out to be used for promotional purposes and then sent back to them as far as I understand. It is a very weird way to do things, honestly, to have extra cards printed on the sheet, because Wizards of the Coast before were like, okay, we're only going to print 500 copies of these cards. Even if you need a replacement of it, we're not going to have a replacement of that numbered card. And now we can see they're making additional versions of them just to go, well, hey, this is just for show. It does kind of make you wonder what else they're doing, what other kinds of versions are being printed, and maybe if they are toying around with the idea idea of saying, maybe we will have an extra copy printed if that's what we need to do. I don't absolutely know what that means, but this is one of those situations where I've seen this come up enough that I figured it needed to be addressed to let people know that this is simply a marketing tool, and this is not like a mistake with the serialized cards or anything else of that nature. Now, the other side of the serialized part, when I mentioned anger, actually comes from the first Ragavan that is serialized already appearing. Star City Games, one of the biggest card-selling websites out there, at least one of the oldest. I guess I don't actually know what market share is anymore. I'm a dinosaur when it comes to Magic the Gathering. So, like Star City has been around for a billion years. I don't even know how many years they've been around, but basically, as far as I can recall, they've been around forever. So they got Ragavan 1 out of 500 and have already posted about having it available, right? And so they're looking for buyers. Who wants to buy this Ragavan? This is a big deal. This hits multiple levels all at once. First of all, it's a serialized card. Secondly, it's on a super playable card. Ragavan is a big ticket item, and certain numbers that you get on the cards, the meme numbers and just like number 1, they have a premium as well. So this is a big deal. This is probably the biggest hit you can get, because I don't think the meme joke numbers, I think number 1 is the best one you can get, and then it's something like maybe 500 out of 500, but definitely it's number 1. And then when you get into your like goofy joke numbers, check it out, I got a 6 and a 9 together, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. People literally want those and will put a premium on them, but it's not the same as 1 out of 500. It's that prime position. So you have people turning around and going, yo, how'd these guys get it? How did they get it early? And how are these people the ones who have it? And there's all this anger going around. Oh, this is a conspiracy, and Wizards of the Coast is sending this stuff to them intentionally and setting it up. And there's people actually quoting other things that have gone on in the sports card industry saying, look, these guys might have been getting sent these like seeded boxes and stuff like that. And I mean, when it comes to what Wizards is doing in terms of trying to stack the deck in their favor, I don't see it happening with something like this Star City Games situation. Wizards does stuff like with the 30th anniversary, where they sent like professional athletes 30th anniversary booster packs, but they also sent them one of the big Power 9 cards from 30th anniversary in a screw case to try and give it that aura of like, check it out, it's this hard case valuable card held by a professional. So like Wizards is willing to do a whole bunch of different things for marketing, but there's no marketing value, as far as I understand, to letting a particular website be the one to crack this particular card. Like, if people are going to be hyped about getting the card, then how does them knowing that this website got it benefit Wizards of the Coast? It's going to diminish sales as people go, well, this truly desired card that I want isn't available. But you also just have to look at this from a purely mathematical standpoint. When you deal with these giant retailers, right, they have to open insane amounts of product. That's why you will see human beings we're pattern seekers. And when you have enough data, right, you just start to see these giant outliers, and it's like no anomalies can exist, right? There's always like a reason for things. There's no gigantic outliers. Everything has to be accounted for. Everything needs to make perfect sense. And that's why they can't be getting all these serialized cards. Why do these few people, why do these few groups why do these few groups keep getting the same amounts of serialized cards and stuff? And it's just math. It's just straight up math where you go, okay, if you open a ton of booster packs, then you're going to get more serialized cards. But it's the number 1 out of 500 that's doing it, because this has happened a number of other times, but I've never seen this level of tweaking where people are getting genuinely upset about it. It's pretty wild. But anyways, considering all the stumbling that I'm doing here, I'm just going to move on to the next subject. So the basic TLDR or DL, didn't listen to that, is that ultimately nothing fishy is going on here. It's just a store opening a bunch of packs and getting a serialized card. So it's kind of a big tempest in a teapot, or a little one, right? So the next item that I have on the list is the welcome boosters, because Wizards has made some very odd changes to them. Now, if you want to see the entirety of the welcome booster, I actually recorded opening it over on my other channel. So you can see all of the details, all the cards that are in there. But if you want to know what the real, like the biggest odd choice to me in terms of the changes they've made is the welcome booster now looks very generic. So on the front, it just has the Planeswalker symbol. And my initial thought when I got that was, okay, so they're no longer going to have them themed to particular sets. But when you flip it over, it's got hashtag March of the Machine. It's literally a March of the Machine welcome booster, but it's not branded that way. And then some of the choices that they made with what they would include inside of it also genuinely ended up baffling me. So you can check that out if you want to see the video of that being opened. There's also, I did an opening of the Sorcery Alpha decks. If you want to check those out, you're into that TCG. I've been opening Spellfire, the old school stuff, talking about that craziness. And I just today opened some spoiler packs for MetaZoo's new upcoming native set. So over on my other channel, I'm covering a ton of other card games and silliness. You're welcome to come on by. I'll be live streaming there tonight. Big thank you to all of my patrons for supporting this channel. I'm gonna go let my twisted up brain get a rest because I had a hard time making it through this one. Anyhow, I'll see y'all for the next one, my friends.